All right, who's first?
Yeah, David, just looking back, just a matter of not being able to match their urgency, or what
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty normal that they're going to be, it was basically their season there for them, so we knew they were going to come out, and we tried to match that. I think the message before the game was we want to be in those spots that they are next year, or maybe have those important games all the way through the season. So we tried to do that. I thought at times we had a good chances, good stuff in the first period, but also the same mistakes that definitely this time of the year, if you have them in important games, it just kills you. And I guess that's what happened tonight.
You were there, obviously. You know their core. Talk about their core, but talk about Crosby, too. What did you learn about just playing with him that season? What did you learn?
Incredibly impressive type of performance that he puts up at the right time. Again, I don't know how many points he had tonight, 3 for sure, maybe 4. So those 2 goals, elite back end, the power play shot, we had a good look from the bench, pulls it around our D that's trying to block the shot, puts it in a good spot in the net where who's his screen, can't really see the puck, and that's what he does. He's been doing it. I've seen it on the other bench, and he's just a great guy. Keeps working on his game. I ran into him at the All-Star break. We were at the same hotel, got to spend some time with him, and he just keeps working at it. He wants to keep getting better, and that's really what drives me now, I think, to it. You see those guys do it, so why not try and do the same thing?
David, what have you seen lately from Lucas Raymond? He kind of had a quiet spot.
I love his energy. Yeah, I love the way he's investing in the game. He's trying to play the right way, too. I think he's making plays. And obviously, I think I always tell him, I sit beside him in the room, and I always tell him, like, the games that he gets feisty a little bit are the games that he plays the best usually. And it's tough to do that every single night, I understand, but it kind of always naturally, there's a scrum, next thing you know, he's got a good game. And I just kind of have like 3-4 games like that pop in my head throughout the year. And he's a guy that I really enjoy getting to know, and playing with him and Mo and Larks, especially on the power play, those 3, they have a lot of talent. It's trying to kind of get all the timing, all the details in the right situation, right time, and we're going to have success.
Do you think with Lucas, too, it's just a matter of, I mean, he's still very young. He's still, filling out and gaining strength physically.
Yeah, no, definitely, like, there's the physical aspect. I think it's getting to know the league, playing 82 games, the travel, understanding what it takes to be consistent each and every night, and that's still something throughout your career you have to keep pushing for that elite level, and he's going to keep doing that.
How discouraging was that second goal, considering when it came,
Yeah.
like second and a half to go, you're a blink of an eye from being in the room?
No, for sure. That's timely moments in the game. Usually when the goals happen one way or the other, it's a huge momentum swing. And tonight wasn't in our favor, and I think it was Wally. I know him. I played with him in St. Louis. He never wants to do that. He's played some really good hockey for us, some solid hockey all year. So good with Mo, kind of stabilize the top 4 there with him elevating his game the way he did. So I think he's going to learn from that.
What have you learned about Derek as a coach as we go down this stretch and his process and kind of, obviously playoffs aren't going to happen this year, but you're building towards something. What have you learned about him as a coach? Yeah,
these games I think are important for us to keep playing the right way. You don't want to, like, I know it's 5-1, but some of the stuff is still applied out there for us, and that's something that you can look back when you look at training camp when we head to Traverse City next year. Those are details that it's gonna stay with us and the young guys. I think it's only gonna help the young guys or whoever is gonna join our group over the summer. It's only gonna help them gel quicker, and I just feel like in a lot of aspects in our game we've gotten better, and that's something that I think he should be proud as a first-year coach. He had a lot to learn, and he's gonna keep getting better, and I'm sure he's gonna, just like everyone else, we go over the summer, we evaluate ourselves, the team, everything, and he's going to keep pushing for more.
Hey, David, you haven't been in this situation a lot. How strange is it going to be next week, not knowing there's not going to be a playoffs?
Yeah, not great. I've been battling with that a little bit mentally the last 3-4 weeks, kind of seeing the writing on the wall, and I think I was probably the last guy in the room that admitted that we weren't going to be in. I think even before the deadline, I kept telling Newsy, if we go 9-2 or if we go 9-3 right before the deadline, maybe things are going to be different. And we almost went there, really. We almost did that. But then management make the decision they have to make for this group long term, and then we understand that. I understand that certainly, but it's not something that I wanted to admit personally. So it's hard. I think it's been 8 or 9 years my teams have been in playoffs, and I really felt like all those years I had a chance to win the cup, and it's a little bit different this year, so it's going to be different.
You've probably seen this a lot, but with an important game like that, their star player that comes through.
That was pretty impressive. I'm talking about Crosby. Even after his second goal, Alex Tanguay, between periods, we reflect on some things, what our message is. And obviously, he's played 1,100 games in the league, been around a lot. His exact quote was that Sydney wants to get in the playoffs, and he was pretty darn good. So some lessons learned in that game. There were some stretches I thought we played pretty well. We had a really good start, and it's very fortunate to be down 2-0. But those are growth mistakes. We get a turnover with 5 seconds left, and we literally had 3 or 4 power play looks. Could have easily been 1-1. Now we get out of the period 2-0, and that's something hopefully we can grow from. Again, why I like these type of games. That's a team playing for their fighting for their playoff lives, and they played it a really good game. And we just had flashes of being good today, but just some of our egregious mistakes ended up on the wrong player's sticks and ended up in the back of our net.
Jack, what have you seen from Lucas Raymond lately? He seems at least a bit of a resurgence in points after a quiet stretch.
I think maybe that line, we get a little spark out of our top 6 with just switching those guys around. So I think that line has a little bit of chemistry there, and our power play's clicking right now. Someone asked me the other day on our power play, just 5 guys in their spots executing very well. And I think Mo having some growth on his play on top. But yeah, he's playing well, which is good. You want young guys to keep going. These are very important minutes and games for him in his development.
Suter obviously started the year, I think, as one of the healthy scratches. How has your opinion and impression of him changed over 80 games?
I don't know if he even changed that day. We had a full lineup, and we just were a completely different team there. But I think he's a very valuable player because he's smart. He can play in all different situations, and he's done that. Centered our 4th line. He's been on our 1st line. He kills penalties. Can play the wing. I know it's a little thing, but just the security of having him after our power play, that next shift's very important. So he's brought some stability, and he's a useful player.
Eric, David Perron said he was probably the last guy in the room to accept the fact that you weren't going to make the playoffs.
Yep.
And how important is it to have a guy like that with that level of expectation?
Huge, and just for your culture, for your growth going forward. And obviously it's a disappointing loss. We're 0-1-1 in our last 2. We ran off a 4-1 stretch at this time of the year with not a whole lot to play for. I think he was one of the guys that drove that. He kept going and kept on the gas, obviously. His offense and the points he produced. Very important going forward. Again, part of that core that's going to be back next year.
My math's right. I think Simon can only play one of the final 3s to stay in
Yep.
the 9 games. When you look at what he's done in the 8 games and you kind of look at him building towards next year, where do you look at kind of the progress bar for him?
Consistency in his game. His fingerprints were on some goals today. I think that's some of that inconsistency that a young D-man goes through. The first goal against, we haven't given up a chance. He turns it over, then he compounds the mistake by attacking the rush. All of a sudden, it's a 2-on-1 on top of us. Ends up in the back of our net a few seconds later. So I think eliminating those type of mistakes, because you can see the skill set, some of the things he's done offensively. But simplify your game. You're not going to get away with certain things against certain players in this league. And I think today was a pretty good lesson for him.
It's something when you're talking with him and you talk about, is it something, obviously it's one thing to start applying it and that takes time, but do you start to see those steps when you guys as a coaching staff have talked to him?
Oh yeah, it's daily growth.
Yeah.
And he's eager for it. So we laugh. He always comes in, his boogs around. And it's literally almost, we can predict when he opens the door. It's almost the same exact time every morning, even though they know they have a routine. Bob's going to come see him, but he still knocks on the door and asks to see Boogs and his shift clips from the night before. So, yeah, and this would be an easy message, the good and the bad, and, just start to learn how to limit those mistakes and manage your game.
Kind of alluding to it with that 5-1 game, but that second goal, was that kind of a little bit of a dagger?
No, huge dagger. I mean, to come out of that to nothing was, especially how well we played at stretches in that period, and the power play literally just before that. And our power play's been very good of late, but even when you don't score on the power play, when you get those type of looks, it builds momentum. And obviously that momentum was taken away with that goal against.
Just getting back to Suter a little bit, how, this guy is playing for a contract, and just how important is it to have a guy, kind of a jack of all trades type guy who can go up and down the lineup?
Yeah, very, very important, especially with us, and knock on wood, and we're going to reflect back in the season, and we've been very fortunate with lack of injuries, if you will, on the back end, but our forward group's been a disaster. I mean, man games lost from the beginning of the year, it's going to be a huge number, and to have someone like that, able to fill and plug in holes through those injuries, or what we did at the deadline, is good. So it's he's good, and a little chemistry I think there with Kopp. Again, my point earlier is a useful player.